Welcome to 100 Proof Radio with Jay Wesley, your weekly journey into examining your spirit choices and social etiquette in different settings. Do you know the written and unspoken rules about ordering and consuming alcohol during a night out on the town with your friends, at office holiday parties, or when hosting at home? Well, pour your favorite drink and get ready for an unfiltered, enlightening, and comfortable ride. Sip back and relax. And welcome to 100 Proof Radio with Jay Wesley.
Welcome to the 46th episode of Cocktails and Tequila. Many people think all tequilas are the same. However, as with whiskeys and rums, tequilas come in a variety of styles, from unaged Blanco to lightly aged Reposado, to deep amber hued with añejo and extra añejo. We want to know what type of tequila you drink and what type of tequila cocktails you like to drink. So we have a couple recipes for you that we're going to share during the show, and we're going to help you become better tequila drinkers on National Tequila Day. So for those of you that are watching, be sure to go grab your tequila and have a sip with us. I have two guests with me today. One is a phone guest, Don. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Jay?
Excellent. Thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. Don is the CEO of Tequila. Tell us all about it, Don.
So I am the CEO and founder of Tequila Incorporated, which is a social media marketing, branding, and influencer company that is focused on the spirits industry and industry-related products. We started off heavily, with focusing on tequila because it was a misunderstood spirit. It was something that we wanted to change the stereotype on, but along the way, we found there were a lot of other brands in the spirit industry that actually had that misconception or needed a little bit of visibility that they weren't getting. So we cover all spirits, but we do focus heavily on tequila. So happy Tequila Day.
All right. And Don, are you sipping with some tequila with us tonight?
I do. I actually am sipping Fortaleza Añejo.
All right. You said that quite well. And tell the people where you're located, where you're from.
I am straight out of the mean streets of Detroit, Michigan.
All right. And are you still currently living in Detroit?
I am on the outskirts of Detroit, so I'm probably like 15 miles outside of Detroit.
All right. You know Eminem?
I actually do. So my history, and I don't want to go too far, but I used to own an independent record label. So I worked with Eminem, D12, Slum Village, MC Breed, Kid Rock, Josie, all of them.
All right, just name dropping. So we're going to have to get a little bit into that later of how you found your way into the spirits world. But in the studio, I have with me my frat brother, Mr. Ben Carter. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you feeling?
Excellent. He got his radio voice on.
Yes. You forgot I was in radio for it.
I forgot.
Yes.
I forgot. You're going to show me out on my own show.
I know. The Quiet Storm. Call on with your request.
So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you found your way into the spirits world from radio broadcast.
Yes, when I was at Radio 1, I put together the whole national urban, we do it, urban Latino outreach for Diageo. And we actually did the Pass the Cavassier campaign back in 2001. Remember those good old days?
Yes.
And so we made
Fresh
it
out of college.
Yes, I actually met up with the people from Cavassier, and we were talking about how to reach the Latino and the urban audiences, as they call it. Urban is considered black, so Latino and black audiences. So anyway, fast forward, I was giving presentations actually in Detroit. I was at the MGM Grand Casino in the Motor City Casino doing presentations, and I got approached, and they were saying you should do this for liquor companies worldwide, and doing marketing and branding for them. And I got into that, and then finally I wanted to get into the ownership of a spirit, and I did my graduate studies in Mexico City. And so I was able to taste real tequila. And our tradition was at the Universidad Iberoamericana was to take a sip of tequila before every test we took.
Interesting. Hold that thought because we have to go to a commercial break and we have our sponsor here tonight, which is Charge and Go stations, which are the lovely stations you see here. You can place this in your bar and have events placed on it, logos, pictures even. Ben, we got your picture on here.
Oh wow!
And so we want to turn it over to our sponsor, Cliff. All right, thanks, Cliff, for that information. So, do you drink tequila? Okay, so you have any choice of tequila? If you go buy tequila, anything in particular you buy? All right, excellent.
We're gonna convert him.
Well, that's what tonight's show is
Yeah,
all
well, I
about,
say,
in part.
you gotta drink organic tequila.
All right, and Cliff, we'll see you back later in the show. So, for those of you that are tuned in, we want you to know that one of the most common tequila myths we need to debunk is the unfounded idea that tequila makes you misbehave. The hard cold truth is that it's not necessarily the tequila that's making you crazy and setting the mood, but it could often be the sugar within the different types of tequila that can actually cause the hangovers and cause you to feel what you might be feeling. So before we kind of go into that one myth, you were telling us a story about how you had to have one drink before
Every test.
every test.
Yes.
And when you say test, what do you mean by test?
I had a test, so I was at grad school there. And
Okay.
So I ended up getting a 4.0 that whole year. And the reason why is because also another myth is tequila is a stimulant, not a depressant. And so our whole thing it was stimulate your mind. And so our whole thing was that usually when you get into test taking situations, that you tend to overthink. You think long, you think wrong, right? And so our whole thing was that it kind of stimulated your mind and made you go to the right answer right quick.
All right. And so, Don, what's your thoughts on that? Have you ever heard of tequila being a stimulant and make you smarter?
I've definitely heard that it's a stimulant, and there's actually a lot of rumored. I don't know if it's been scientifically proven, but a lot of benefits with drinking tequila. As far as going back to like the myth that it makes you misbehave, I think you nailed it to where it's more of the sugars.
Yep.
I always look at it, and the reason why I started Teak Life is because, like I said, I really wanted to debunk that myth. I wanted to change the stereotype, and it started with my friends where, they wouldn't really drink tequila whatsoever, and now they're all big tequila fans, and they're not the average tequila drinkers. I mean, they go for the high, pricier types of tequilas, organic tequila like we were talking about. So, with that being said, is you drink a better tequila, it's going to better function in your body. And that was really the key. But, there's just so many rumors and stereotypes where you drink tequila, your clothes fall off. I mean, it's
Right.
just, it's really silly stuff.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people that had a bad experience, but they don't attribute it to the root cause that they were drinking everything at the bar or drinking everything on spring break and
Yes. Senor Frogs.
getting those big sugary
Acapulco,
drinks.
Cancun, South Padre Island, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. I mean, you have the cheap tequila. So, it's just with any type of alcohol, you have a cheap alcohol. It's like everybody, you have Mad Dog 2020, Boone's Farm, Strawberry Hill. I mean, you're going to wake up with, a bad headache because you're tasting a lot of pesticides, a lot of growth accelerants that are used to make it, to make the product. And that's why Tolero Tequila, we're organic. And the reason why we certified organic 3 times is that we don't use any growth accelerants, any pesticides on our blue agave plants. And we use purified distilled waters with our fermentation. So it's like, and distillation, excuse me. And so that gives that smooth, light taste, but also you just said before, it doesn't give you that tequila hangover or
Right.
tequila headache.
So I'm definitely all about organic drinking. As if you don't know, I used to own an organic bar which focused in on organic vodkas, gin, rum, tequilas, wines, beers. The food was even organic. Unfortunately, I was a little bit before my time. I sold it off to a place called Boogaloo Lounge. Now
Yes.
you may know it as on Ponce de Leon. So I made room for Boogaloo to take over, but when people hear organic, they hear price point.
Right.
So, is it worth the price point to drink healthy? And let's start with you, Don.
I mean, personally, I believe it is, but I don't think that it's hit the masses. And maybe, Ben can have some better insight than I can. But I mean, for me, the masses, a lot of the times they look at cheap and
Right.
what they can afford.
Right.
But for me, a price point really goes out the door when it's a quality product. And I think that's really the way that you have to look at it is you're buying a quality product that in the morning you could have many drinks and you're not going to wake up with that hangover.
Yep.
And that's really for any industry, but specifically I think that's where the bad type of, reputation tequila has kind of derived from is poor quality.
Yep. Because as you said before, when we took over the company and bought the Tolero brand, at first it was $49 a bottle for just simple Blanco.
Round two, don't be keeping count.
For a simple Blanco. But as you said before, now our Blanco is being sold for just for $29.99 a bottle. So I mean, for $29.99 a bottle, you can basically, it competes with the Patrons, it competes with the 1800s, the Aviones, and the Don Julios, and the Casamigos, and you're getting actually a better taste and a better tequila for at basically 10% or 15% below what they're selling for.
Wow, interesting. Don, do you work for any tequila companies by chance?
So I represent in marketing at least 10 to 15 different brands.
Any tequila companies?
Oh yeah.
Or are they
Oh, yeah.
all, are you saying they all 15 are tequila?
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. You have to send us some product, man, so we can feature it on the show.
Everybody wants
I'll
everything
work
for
on
free.
that.
Right. Well, it's look at our reach. We're gonna be sending people out to buy the product.
I agree.
So it's worth it. So here's another myth on the table: is that if it's gold, it's got to be good. So people are used to, maybe Jose Cuervo. It's gold. They're looking for it to be gold. What's your thought on that, Ben?
As far as being as a Añejo or Reposado?
Or like the color. People are looking at the color. Does the color
No.
define
Right.
it being a good tequila?
Well, that was also one of our one of our selling points is that we're one of the few Añejo and Reposados that is purely clear. And the reason why the color comes from is because most Añejos and Reposados are in whiskey barrels or cognac barrels, and that gives it that color.
Depending on how long you age it for.
Yeah, and in comparison, we age ours longer too. But the thing is that we have a clear Reposado and a clear Añejo, so we want to pass that pure light taste to you. So therefore, you are getting that clean añejo taste.
And definitely, anejos and reposados are typically on the gold side, but
Yes,
you're saying yours are clear.
Yeah, we are clear because we don't use whiskey barrels.
And so, which one are we having today?
This is the Blanco.
This is the Blanco. Okay.
And see, and the Blanco was named Tequila of the Year. We beat we was named Tequila of the Year in China by the China Wine Spirits Awards and also by the SIL in France. So in the French Spirits Expo, we were giving the Tequila of the Year. And the reason why was because our Blanco is on comparison and is aged as to a reposado or mini añejos.
Right. So for those of you out there watching, this is the 46th episode of 100 Proof, and this show is Cocktails and Tequila. Do you know the difference between tequilas? So you've heard the word thrown out, reposado. You've heard añejo. You just heard Blanco, añejo.
Añejo.
Whatever, you heard them. So
in Espanol, it's añejo.
For those of you that are watching, Blanco is more of your economical. It's the lower level of tequila.
Yes.
Your reposado is the medium level of tequilas, and your most quality tequila is normally añejo, and now they're beginning to create extra añejo.
Yes.
So done.
Well, reposado means rested.
Rested.
Okay, and then añejo means aged. So it's just like you said before. It's a rested tequila is basically a medium build tequila, and then añejo, of course, is the extra aged. So for example, in comparison with a cognac, you have very special VSOP, which is a very special Opel, and then you have the XO, which is extra old. So that's basically the añejo. So you're thinking of just the aging. It's the aging process of it.
Right. Mm-hmm. So here's another myth for you, Don. People think that you have to drink tequila with salt and a lime, and that's the only way that you can drink it. Don, is that true?
I mean,
that's gringos.
That's not how it's intended to be drank whatsoever. I don't even know where that actually came.
So can I drink mine with cherries if I wanted to?
I mean,
that's not going against any rules? Unwritten rules.
Our whole thing is that because that's why
unspoken rules.
As you said before, as Don would tell you, that the reason why tequila became if you look back in the history, is because the Spanish brought over their wine and they mixed it with the mezcal and the agave plant. And so, therefore, it's supposed to be enjoyed like a wine. That's why our tequila is in a wine bottle. So, therefore, it's supposed to be enjoyed straight up. The whole thing with the lime and the salt is because it's supposed to make the cheap tequila tasteable. And that's truly a gringo thing. I mean, when I say gringo, that means American, white American, dumb American, ignorant American type of stereotype. I'd say. I mean, because in Mexico City, I mean, I just hate to say it. It's just a common thing that Americans do not know how to enjoy tequila.
All right. Yeah. So, Don, what's your thoughts on what Ben just said?
Oh, he's spot on. I mean, it is absolutely an American thing, and for me, I think the first time that I really enjoyed tequila, I mean, it was being able to get all those flavors. You want to get the agave, you want to be able to, whatever's, the caramel, the vanilla notes, whatever it may be, and if you were going to chase it, I mean, one of the authentic ways how to, sip in between is a sangrita. So, I mean, if you have a sangrita, like that actually does the same thing as the salt, the lime, whatever somebody may be, doing. But I mean, for me, we don't do that in my household. That's outlawed.
I agree.
That's outlawed.
I agree.
All right. So here's another myth. But before we say what this myth is, we want you to ask your questions during the Causing a Stir segment that's coming up in 8 minutes. So type your questions in and we can acknowledge them and ask the experts about tequila. So any questions you have, and tell us what tequila you drink. What's your preferred tequila? So myth number 5, margaritas are the original and only cocktail for tequilas. So help us out. Like, many people don't think of any other drinks they can make with a tequila.
Don, you want to go first, or you want to me?
I mean, it's interesting. I mean, the margarita. There's a great history behind the margarita and how supposedly it evolved and it was named after a king's daughter or
Yes.
something like that.
Yes.
So
Margarita.
it's a great story. But I mean, for me, and trust me, I love a good margarita. I mean, a good fresh margarita I do love. But the Paloma, I mean,
Yes.
that's actually my cocktail.
Yes.
Okay, we talked about that before the show, and honestly, I feel a little bad. I don't think I've ever tried
The Paloma.
a Paloma,
What?
but
Yeah.
thanks to my frat brother Ben here, he brought me the recipe. So I'm gonna put it out there for those of you who wants to try it as well. 1.5 ounce of tequila,
Uh-huh.
4 ounces of lemon lime soda, 4 splashes of grapefruit juice,
Yeah.
1 squeezed lime, a pinch of salt, and add ice in a highball glass and squeeze a lime over the ice.
Yeah.
And of course, you want to try that with Tolero tequila.
Yeah.
So now you know what a Paloma is. I'm going to go home and try it. Hopefully, you leaving this bottle with me.
Yeah, I will. But the thing is that blue agave, which is the difference between regular agave, the difference between blue agave and agave is the elevation. Most people, I'll tell you when I first got to Mexico City and I got off the plane, it was 45 degrees, and this was in the middle of June. And people were like, I called my mom, and I was like, Mom, send me all your sweaters, send me all my blue jeans, because I thought, Mexico, everybody thinks Mexico is going to be hot. But actually, Mexico elevation is mile high. It's about 5,000 square feet above sea level. So it's automatically cold during the summer months. But also, we do our blue agave. The blue agave comes because we do our agave at 7,000 square feet above sea level. So it becomes blue, and it becomes a lighter, as you said before. And so that's why the agave, which looks like a marijuana plant, but it looks like the agave is blue, and it becomes a real tequila, as you said before. That's what, again, also people also don't know is that in order to be called a tequila, you
Gotta
have
be made in Mexico.
there you go, and then it has to be made with 100% agave, which people don't also know.
Right.
So
Now, what is it when they're, it's not all the way? It's agave and something else is like 50% agave.
that's what you call Patron.
I agree.
So that's a good segue. And Don, let's take this question to you. I've heard that many times. Patron is not a good tequila. So can you tell us why it's not a good tequila, and why do most, I don't want to say most, but why is it a certain culture or a lot of people think it's a good margarita? I mean, a good tequila.
Tequila. I mean, because it's popular, and
marketing.
it's the way that it's marketed, So, I mean, when you look at it, and I used to, before they sold Bacardi, I used to tell people, like, hey,
Paul
that's
Mitchell.
owned by Paul Mitchell.
Yeah, the
And,
hairdresser.
he does hair products. I mean, that's not where I want my tequila to come from. The other thing about it is, there are some rumors out there, Ben can tell you that they use undermatured
Yes.
agave. So that way it doesn't give it that full
No.
agave flavor. It's the way that they actually distill, the way they mash their agave,
Yep.
that it just, not getting real technical into it, but it's just not a quality product. The other thing that I just don't like about Patron, and I have their platinum one that's like $300 a bottle or something like that, and it was a gift. It was a gift. So, but I mean, it's peppery. It just has a lot of pepper
Yes.
on the back end of it, and that's not really what I want to drink. I don't want to sip on that, and that's where it comes into play that you need something to chase it. So you have that lemon, you have that lime, or the other one is a caramelized orange, to take that away. And if I need to do something afterwards to take the taste of my liquor away, I'm drinking the wrong liquor.
Right. Or a lot of companies are adding food coloring or food dye into it to give that gold barrel age
Oh, really?
look to it.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
for those
Wow.
of you that are out there watching, this is what 100 Proof is all about, to help you learn what quality drinking is all about. Because sometimes we're thinking we're doing it and we're not. And
Yes.
we just heard an example here tonight that we think we're drinking Patron and we're high class and we balling and we lit and we turning up. But guess what? For those that really know it and that's an expert, they're looking at you like you're a fool.
Yeah, it's like same thing with Corona beer.
Mm-hmm.
Corona is beer for gringos, as he said before. There's a lot of quality Mexican beers, and the Corona, of course, as everybody knows, is the Mexican beer, but that's only because of marketing and branding. And if you said before, I equate Patron as the Coca-Cola of tequilas. They have branded themselves so well because you don't say shots of tequila, you say shots of Patron now, and they gotten themselves branded to where you don't even say tequila, you say Patron. And same with Hennessy. You don't even say cognac. You say Hennessy, give me some Hen, give me some Hen. And it's the same concept, but it's not doesn't necessarily equate to quality or good drink. It's just that they brand it to where now they're on top of your mental shopping list
Right.
of tequilas.
Patron, if
It's
you're
exactly
watching,
right. I mean,
no,
you
go ahead,
you
Don.
you hear it in songs. You
Mm-hmm.
hear it, see it in movies,
Mm-hmm.
TV shows, commercials. It's rammed down your throat. So you begin to almost become brainwashed to think that this is fantastic. And
Mm-hmm.
for me, I went to a bar one time for a going away party, for somebody, and all they had was 1800. And I
Mm-hmm.
kid you not, I was like halfway into my shot, and I just developed a strong headache
Right.
because it's just not a quality product. And when you're, an enthusiast, you pick it up right away.
Yep.
So, Don, you're saying 1800 is another one of those products that isn't the greatest quality, but have good marketing
Mm-hmm.
and people love it.
Agree,
Agree.
100%. The other thing about it is a lot of people don't understand that Jose Cuervo makes 1800. So
Yes.
you just see the brand 1800 and you think that it's something completely different than
Yes.
Jose Cuervo, which is traditionally a mixto,
Yes.
which is not a quality product whatsoever because it has so much sugar content.
Yeah, mixto is
So
not even a real tequila.
Right, and that's the
it's
name I was
not.
trying to think of earlier when I was saying half and half with the agave. But and yeah, both 1800 and Jose Cuervo is founded by Diageo.
Mm-hmm.
But we are in the midst of a sip break, and we want to bring back our good friend of the show, Cliff, who's in charge of Charge and Go stations. Cliff. Charging Go Networks is a new wave company offering high-quality mobile charging devices. We are the leader in the mobile device charging industry. We create innovative marketing solutions for clients looking to engage audiences and activate their brands. Our digital platforms use a mixture of targeted ads and entertainment to give you direct access to people that fit your target market. Customers get a conversation starter. You generate higher revenues. Founded in 2010, Charging on Networks has partnered with countless events for thousands of event attendees and their mobile devices. We understand the user experience and know how to engage an audience on behalf of clients. Charging on Networks has a special promotion for the listeners and viewers of the 100 Proof Radio show with Jay Wesley. This month's special for the listeners, viewers of the show has a $600 value. You can choose from either 5 of our Falcons, which includes free artwork, free delivery, free setup and breakdown, and also we include bar stools as well, which include free artwork as well, delivery, setup and breakdown, bar stools, all for $250. All right, thanks, Cliff. So what do you think about this conversation so far? Any thoughts?
I'm enlightened. It does make sense. Certain liquor, certain beverages, I should say spirits, you do get headaches with them. And getting that explanation through this conversation is definitely enlightenment.
All right, excellent. And thank you for the stations today. And so we are in the midst of our Causing a Stir segment. This is where you get to chime in and tell us your thoughts or the questions you have. And we specifically would like to know what drinks of tequila you purchase at the store. So we want to acknowledge Anitra Atkins. She says hello. Andrew Snorton says, Happy Tequila Day. Looking forward to learning more about pairings and related items. We have Jamisa Evans. This is some good info. So we're going to go back into the myths and ask, tequila is made from a cactus, people think.
Agave.
But people think, why do they think it's from a cactus? Where are they getting that from, Don?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Ben, but agave is a form of a cacti, correct?
Very true.
So, it's a loose term that if you think about a cactus, you think about the ones maybe you find in Arizona, growing 15 feet tall with the spikes, but that's really there's different forms of of cactus. So agave is one of them, and the branches, the leaves, they're sharp. I mean, they're needle like. You can get a 15-foot agave and pierce somebody and probably
Yeah,
kill them.
you can kill with, you can basically.
Yeah.
I wouldn't advise it, but you can basically kill somebody with a agave plant.
Oh, wow.
But it looks like it looks like when we put it on a bottle, everybody thinks it looks like it's weed tequila. It looks like
Right.
weed.
Right. So, what other myths are out there that you all are aware of with people getting mixed up with tequilas?
Oh, the way that's supposed to be consumed.
And how is that? That is by shots only
Yeah, shots and margaritas.
and margarita.
Yeah, it's the American way. Yeah,
But you say that it's made to be sipped like a wine.
it's very much so.
All right.
That's how the Spanish came over, and when they brought it over to the and conquered the Aztecs and the Mayans, they basically took the agave plant and mixed it with their wine, Spanish wine.
And so, Don, what's your thoughts about that? Any thoughts on what he just said, or do you have any other myths that people get mixed up with tequila?
Well, it kind of follows what he said is, a lot of people think it's the party drink. Like, let's get going. You see it in the movies where let's do shots of tequila to get the night going, and then it turns into the hangover.
Yep.
And that's really not true. It's a situation where if you get the right tequila, which there are a lot of great brands out there, and I definitely would love to try his brand, but it's a situation where it is meant to be experienced. And I think, that's where a lot of these myths come from, because it is kind of looked at as the party drink.
Yep.
Let's get it going. And then, you move on from there. Maybe you do a margarita, and then you move over to a different cocktail, and then you do shots of vodka, and then Jaeger comes into play, and you blame it all on tequila because that's where the past started.
Exactly.
But really the past started is you were pretty dumb.
Yes,
You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And you didn't drink any water, so
Yes.
there's just a lot of things with that. But what we try to do on our platform is educate people how to actually enjoy a spirit.
Okay.
And, the nose, get the aromas,
Yes.
and, really taste it. The first taste should really to coat your palate, and then you can experience all the flavors. So it's masterful. I far graduated past the days where I drank to get, smashed and blackout drunk. Like now I enjoy it. And, it's exciting, when I hear of a product like his that's organic and has a rested tequila that's clear. I mean, that to me, that's exciting, because it's like, wow, I don't know how many of those I've seen, but I want to see it. So that's how people, should look at it. But I mean, it's really educating the masses on how to enjoy any spirit. And, I don't think it's going to go, across the board, because it's like we can tell you how bad McDonald's is for you, but people still go to McDonald's. And that's what's going to happen with the Patrons, the Cuervos, with the 1800s. People are still going to go there because that's what they know. That's the marketing, the branding. But I think, what Ben and I are trying to do is to re-educate people and kind of give them that knowledge, so that way next time they go to the store or to, the bar, lounge, whatever it may be, make a better choice. And I guarantee you will be very happy the next day.
Yeah, I think because also people, I noticed when I first got into the tequila business, when I asked them, I said, "Do you want to try our tequila?" It would always be people were like, "Oh no, I got to work tomorrow." You're like, okay, you can have some tequila and still perform, be at work tomorrow. And it was because they were introduced to tequila at spring break or at South Beach or in Cancun, and they always had everybody has a tequila story. I mean, I had
Right. So here's a
I
tequila story
go
here
ahead.
that people want to know is
Uh-huh.
do tequila makes you more sexually aroused more than any other category?
Well, it stimulates you. So I mean, however
Oh, there it
however you
is.
stimulates you, because most people say you said before, alcohol is depressant, but tequila is not. So tequila is a stimulant. So it's basically, if you can say, it's a liquid Viagra. So
Well,
therefore,
I'm here to tell you all it works. So
yeah, because I mean, people have said, you drink too much alcohol, you have erectile dysfunction. So therefore, you get to the point where you said, I've my tequila story is that we were actually celebrating my 5th year anniversary. This was 2000, of course, spring '95. So I was doing Long Island iced teas, and I was taking shots of tequila and chasing it down with Long Island iced teas. Right. So I mean, come on,
wow, you were
yeah.
wasted.
So next thing I know, I was in D.C., but I woke up, I'm in Virginia. Okay, so that's the tequila story. So that's most people be like, okay, if I drink, but the thing was, I drank tequila with what? Long Island iced tea. A Long Island iced tea is 5 liquors. So of course I'm gonna wake up in Virginia somewhere, in my boxers and my and a wife beater, you know, next to a girl that I don't know how I got there. So everybody has that tequila story. But when now I'm in my 40s, now yeah, I can't be doing that,
Right.
So now I'm drinking organic tequila on rocks, nice, and just enjoying it with a good cigar. And I'm going home and I'm going to work,
Right.
at 8 o'clock in the next morning, and that's what it is.
So Don, let's hear from you as far as if tequila is quality and you're choosing the proper tequila and it's smooth, how does one know when to stop?
I think that's really with any spirit that is out there. You have to know your limitations, and I mean, even though I do consume tequila and I have a pretty good tolerance because I drink for a living. That's basically what we do with our platform to experience the different spirits. But I mean, really, you have to know yourself, and when you're getting to that point, and so you don't have a tequila story. I don't really necessarily have a tequila story. I have a story where I drank way too much of way too many things, tequila included, and I found myself in the back alley locked in Chicago
Oh, my
and didn't know
hometown.
where I was, and so it was it's a fun story we can talk about, another time. But it was just like I drank everything. It was just who cares, and usually it comes from the territory with women.
Yes.
We're drinking, we're enjoying
Yes.
ourselves, we're
Yes.
trying to impress some lady, and you're drinking too much. You keep the shots going,
Yep.
you keep the drinks flowing, and then all of a sudden you get to that point where it's like, oh no, I think I passed the point of no return. And
Right.
No,
it's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
see women, that's what you do to us. So
Yes.
really that's where it comes into play, is like you just if you can't, your boys have to, like somebody's got to look out for you.
Right.
So use the buddy system. But I mean, really, you just kind of got to know when you're feeling, and being experienced, which I'm sure you guys are now. Your point where you're like,
Yeah.
okay, if I have one more, I'm gonna feel this way, and so I need to slow down.
But see, the thing was, me and my girlfriend, we went through a whole bottle of Tolero and organic tequila in one night, and we woke up next day perfect, and that was great.
Hmm.
And that was like, and so I've had her, as a raving fan. And so, before that, she was like, no, I can't do tequila. and she thought like I was force feeding her tequila. And I'm like, look, I'm trying to tell you, this is a totally different type of tequila that you've had. And so, like you said before, you get in those experiences. People equate experiences to their drinking. So, for example, like oh, I was on South Beach, boom, boom, boom. I was in Las Vegas. Like when I was in Las Vegas, it was always tequila and Red Bull.
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, because
So how do you like your tequila? How do you have it? You have it neat. You have it on the rocks.
I have it on
You
rocks straight
margarita.
up, or I chill it. I put you said before you have it chilled right now, so I just put it in the freezer, pull it out, and then I just just pour it right there in my cup. But when I usually get it, I just pour it right there on the rocks, and that's when I test a real tequila. So if someone says, "Yeah, I want you to try this tequila," I'd say, "Give it over to me on the rocks." And if I don't like it, then I'm like, "Ugh," because I mean, I don't want to call out, and hate on other tequilas, but there's certain tequilas that I've tried in the last 3 or 4 years, and they say they're just as good as mine. And I'm like, look, dude, and it's hard to take regularly.
Is Patron better than yours?
No,
Is
don't.
1800 better than
No,
yours?
keep going.
Look,
Okay.
I haven't had his, and I'm gonna straight up tell you right now, it's not.
Keep going. Go. Keep going down the list.
Don, how do you like your tequila? How do you like your tequila served?
It depends. So, like a blanco, I like it on the rocks. I like it, cooler. A reposado, maybe a whiskey rock or something like that. But an añejo or an extra añejo, I got to do it neat. I like to taste those flavors coming out of it. But here's the thing too is you can put an ice cube in it and it can actually open it up
Yep.
a little bit more.
Yep.
So it just depends on your style. I don't think there's any really wrong way to drink it unless you're doing shots with a wedge and salt.
Hmm.
That I wouldn't suggest that, but I guess it breaks down to if you bought the bottle, you drink it how you want. However, there's just ways to enjoy it and appreciate it. And I have different ways to do that. Now, if I'm at an establishment and all they have is one of the aforementioned, tequilas like 1800 or Cuervo or
Or
whatever it may
Patron.
be,
Hmm.
I'll cut it with some pineapple juice because I know that's
Yep.
gonna, make it better. So that way I don't taste the garbage, the pollution, that's coming out.
Yeah.
Because I still like to stick with tequila as my go-to, but I'm a rum guy too. So
Yep.
I love rum. So if they don't have a good rum, I'll stick with one of those lower level tequilas in my book, but I'll cut it with some ice and pineapple juice,
Yep.
and basically I'll be okay because it if it's real pineapple juice, then we're good. If it's the concentrate stuff, then I guess I'm really in trouble.
Also, lemonade is also very good too. I
That
think.
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah. Also, and what we've done for the Southern Gentile people of the Atlanta, Georgia, we have made a Tolero tea, and a Tolero tea is 2 ounces of Tolero tequila mixed with
Is that on this drink recipe?
no, it's something I came up with.
All
Two
right.
ounces Tolero tequila with 2 ounces of lemonade and 2 ounces of sweet tea.
I like
So you have a nice little
Don, you hear the
Tolero.
the southern vernacular?
Yes, a Tolero tea. It's with a Tolero with Arnold Palmer. So you said before, the lemonade brings out the citrus. Usually, a lot of blue agave gets brought out by citrus type of flavors. Like a lot of people love to put Sprite with their tequila, which is a very good. I recommend. So if you even if you have a cheap Americanized tequila, if you just splash or not splash it, but drown it with Sprite or ginger ale, you're good.
Talked a lot about marketing in this show, whereas well, good regardless of quality of the product can get into consumers' minds as being a great product. So, how much of that do consumers own, or how can we become smarter consumers that we recognize garbage when it's put in front of us versus just going with the gimmick of it because it's put in a celebrity's hand
Mm-hmm.
to push forward? Any thoughts on that?
Go
I
ahead.
mean, me being in marketing, and I know Ben, you market your product, but I
Hmm.
mean, it's just a situation where it's really always an uphill battle because you have, who is it, Kylie Jenner, who's a billionaire or close to it, so it's all about influence and marketing. And it can be a subpar product, but if you get it in the right hands, at the right time, it can do wonders. I mean, look at the pet rock. Back in the 70s, is the dumbest idea, but the dude made $1 million off of it because of marketing.
That's when $1 million is $1 million.
Wait, tell me what
Yeah.
was Pet Rock? Give me a quick.
It was just.
Oh, you don't know?
It was
Oh,
just a rock.
yeah.
A rock
But
in
he
a box.
marketed it to be a live pet.
Yes.
It was like a living pet, and it came with a manual how to take care of your rock. It was a rock, and
Yes.
it came in like a nice package, cardboard, like it was a crate. And he
Yes.
marketed it like it was actually a living animal for
Yes.
those who are on the go, who don't have a lot of time, and you can take care of your pet rock. Kind of like
Well,
what was it, a Tamagotchi?
Yes. Well, I'll tell you this. There's a great series called NPR called How I Built This, and if you listen to it, go online and Tito's. Okay, so Tito's
Oh yeah.
Tito's is a great brand. Is what actually we're using their brand their brand plan, their game plan. Actually, I'll ask you this: name. Okay, how many flavors of Tito's vodka are there?
There is just one.
Thank you. Okay, so what celebrity endorse Tito's vodka?
None.
Thank you. So, and yet Tito's is now displaced